Good morning and welcome. We are standing here with some of Army, Navy, and Air Force and Marine veterans, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves. But let's start with you. What was your name and branch of service?
My name is Wells Farr. I was in the U.S. Air Force from 1985 to 2005.
William Vazel. I was drafted in February of '68, went to infantry school in Fort Polk, Louisiana, and was shipped off to South Vietnam. Became an ammo bearer for an M60 machine gun, and then moved up and became a squad sergeant carrying the M60.
John Blaze in the U.S. Navy from 1967 through 1971. I was ship maintenance, stationed aboard the USS Bushnell for 2 years, and then the USS Wasp for 2 years.
Genevieve Gallagher. I'm a retired nurse, graduated from St. Peter's in 1949, so you can figure out my age. Interested in every veteran organization that I can get into. As you can see, this is one of them. And the Military Courtesy Room, Vietnam Vets, patron of the Albany High ROTC. And in other words, I'm all over.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna ask you some interesting questions here. Where were you stationed at?
I was actually a reservist at Stratton Air National Guard Base in Schenectady, but I was deployed 4 times during my 20-year career. I was deployed to Saudi Arabia in 1990 and 91, where I was deployed to Saudi Arabia, the Emirate of Bahrain, and in 1996 I was deployed to Tazar Air Base, Hungary, where I worked in an Army aeromedical evacuation liaison team. And in about 2001, it was right after 9/11, I was deployed as a base security guard augmentee, where I performed as an armed military police officer. And in 2000, I believe it was 2010, I deployed for 6 months to New York City.
Wow. This is the 9/11?
Yes,
Wow.
it was in support of the. Actually, the operation is ongoing. They provide security to the airports and the railroad stations in New York City.
That's good to know. Tell us a little bit about where you were stationed at.
Well, when I got sent to Vietnam, I was with the 23rd Infantry Division.
How old were you?
I was 20. I had my 21st birthday in Vietnam in a bunker party. We were stationed at a place called LZ Ross, LZ Baldy, and I spent 366 days in Vietnam. It wasn't even a leap year. They thought maybe they forgot my name in the spelling. After Vietnam, I was shipped back for 6 months at Fort Carson, Colorado.
Okay, yeah.
And as well, I guess I couldn't get enough of the military because I was out 8 years before I joined back the 109th Air Guard with the Civil Engineering Group, and then we just traveled all over the world, either building something or tearing something apart.
Where were some of the places that you've gone with that second?
Germany, Italy, Spain, a lot of places in the States, doing rehabs in Arkansas.
Did you go to Louisiana after the hurricanes or whatever?
No, we didn't, but I was also stationed down at Ground Zero. That was my last active duty
At 9/11?
at 9/11.
Wow. Okay, we'll come back to you.
I was stationed aboard the USS Bushnell, which was home port was Key West down in Florida, the submarine base. It's no longer an active base, but a tourist center. But as on a submarine tender, our duty was to go out to sea, and we would support all the submarines so that they wouldn't have to come into port, deliver their mail, their food, their fuel, everything.
How did you do that? They're underground.
They would come up, they
They
would
would surface?
we'd service them, then they'd go back down under.
At night.
Yeah, at night most of the time.
Wow, that was interesting.
And that's what we did. From there, I was transferred to USS Wasp out of Rhode Island, and aboard that one. We did a lot of North Atlantic trips and voyages, in which case a few times we ran in, we had Russian subs following us all over the place up there. When we went into Germany, going up the river into Germany, we had one right behind us all the way. So it keeps you on your toes, but we did get to see.
Pretty interesting. And you're involved with the Marine Detachment Unit? Tell us a little bit about that, please.
Well, we're the oldest detachment in the world, and we are extremely active in just about everything you can say. We have the best honor guard going, and in fact, our honor guard is so good we are requested to be there. We are interested in Toys for Tots. It's been our mainstay for I don't know how many years. And in general, Marines are there. First come, first serve, first in, first out.
Okay. Love it, love it. Let me ask you all a question. I'm a veteran myself, and I have some good memories of being in the service. What would you remember as having the most fun when you're in the service?
The most fun were what we used to call Friday night scud parties. When we were in Saudi Arabia, the Iraqis would not shoot rockets after sundown on Friday because that's their Sabbath. So on Friday night we would have what we called scud parties, where we would get together and we would have regular parties. We would dance and have food. And
outside, inside?
Well, we had a tent city, and every tent city had what we called a rec tent or a recreation tent. So we would usually set up there.
And what would the weather be like?
I got there just in time for the rainy season. I got there right after New Year's in 1991, and it was rainy and cold. The temperatures got down to about 65, and it rained for about 5 days straight, and that was it. That was the only rain that we saw. The rest of the time, it was generally dry and hot.
How hot was hot?
I have two pictures on 2 different days where the thermometer read over 120.
Okay.
But it was not uncommon for us to go out and play volleyball when it was 100 degrees outside. You just had to drink a lot of water.
I would imagine. Okay, well, I know Vietnam, we heard all kinds of stories. Can you tell us a little bit about something that you did, that you enjoyed about Vietnam?
I got to think about that one.
Well,
It was a camaraderie between the guys that we didn't usually work company side. We usually worked platoons. It was just less of a target for the enemy. And at various times, somebody would get some good packets from home, and we'd be cooking spaghetti in a steel pot and just sitting around and.
What was the weather like in Vietnam? Most of our listeners.
Well,
don't know.
it's humid. I mean, if it gets down to 65, you put your field jacket on.
But similar to this gentleman here, do they have a rainy season or something like that?
No, but cold.
Well, they call it the monsoon season,
Yeah.
where it starts to get chilly, and you sleep in a rice paddy, and you just at 20. It doesn't bother you. If I had to sleep in a rice paddy today, it'd be aches and pains. Come and get me.
I can imagine. So you have some fond memories. How about when you were in Colorado? What did you like about that? Skiing?
Well, no, I'm not a big skier. It was just the seeing the mountains, the huge mountains. Being from the East Coast, we got a few here, but nothing that makes any.
You can come on. We could edit it. Go ahead. They're gonna get to work in 2 seconds. It's our boss here. Okay. All right. How about yourself?
With the Navy, mostly I enjoyed being down in Key West, Florida when we were in port, which was most of the time as a subtender. It was really nice being down there, enjoying all the warm weather, and coming up here for the holidays, where it was really kind of a extreme difference. But then when I got transferred to the aircraft carrier out of Quonset Point in Rhode Island, and we spent most of our time in the North Atlantic, it was like just the opposite. Yeah. It gets very cold up in the Arctic Circle up in come November, late October. It was kind of chilly, but we enjoyed being in the North Atlantic. There's a lot of wonderful countries in Europe that we did get to see. unlike these gentlemen, the government never seemed fit to send me over to the West Coast. So they kept me here on the East Coast, and I did my job here.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
1, 2, 3.
Happy Veterans Day.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all, gentlemen. Welcome to Albany Temple Spectrum Salute to Veterans of 2018. We'd like to find out a little bit about your background. Okay, so we have a lot of Navy people here, so why don't we start with our Army friend over here. Tell us when you were in the Army.
I was in the Army from 87 to 91, Desert Storm veteran.
Okay, what was your MOS?
I was an 88 Mike.
Can you describe what that
That's
is?
the truck driver. I was 88 Mike / 77 Fox POL. So I was a truck driver and a fuel handler. So basically, my thing was to deliver all the supplies, food, ammunition, and stuff to the troops out in the field.
Where were you stationed at?
I was stationed in Bamberg, Germany. I was also up at Fort Drum, and I did all my basic and AIT training at Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Fort Dix, New Jersey. Okay. All right. How about you over here?
Yes, I was an aviation instructionist mechanic while serving in the United States Navy.
Where were you stationed?
And I was stationed in Patuxent River, Maryland.
And what years were you there?
I was there from, 1994 to 95.
Okay, very good. How about yourself?
I'm a Navy veteran. I served on the tin cans. I was a tin can sailor. We went to Vietnam in 1966 in January and came back in September of '66. We did a round-the-world cruise. I am a chief machinist mate, retired, and I worked in the engine room where we took the steam energy and turned it into mechanical energy and then into electricity.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And you were in Vietnam, huh?
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's what it says on the hat.
Hi again, it's Paul Hacker. I was in the U.S. Navy aboard submarine tenders. I was in Rhoda, Spain. I was Holylock, Scotland. Then I came back to Bremerton, Washington. I worked in the captain's office. I maintained personnel records for other sailors. And I did correspondences for the ship. I helped with the correspondence.
I'm wanted for dead or alive.
And I enjoyed it very much. I made a lot of friends in the Navy and the great camaraderie. We all worked as a team.
Well, where were you stationed at?
Well, I had 3 places. I was in Rhoda, Spain. I started in Rhoda, Spain. I went from there to Holylock, Scotland, then to Bremerton, Washington.
Wow, wow. Okay, now here comes the great question. As veterans, what did you like most about being in the military?
I like being out at sea at night. It was beautiful out there, especially when you can see the Milky Way and stuff. And they had some nice weather. Every chance I got, I would be up on the O2 level and it'd sit there. I used to like getting off the mid-watch at 4 in the morning and to relax and go up on the O2 level and just sit up there. The O2 level, because a destroyer is only like where the fan tail is only 7 feet above the water, so you were susceptible to large waves. So up on the O2 level, you're quite a bit higher, and so you're pretty much safe from a rogue wave or something.
Wow. What did you like most about being in the military?
Me, I was 17 when I went in, so for me it was the structure, the discipline. You know, it changed me from a young boy into a man. So that, you know, and I love the camaraderie. You know, the people I worked with, it was, you know, it was like one, you know, it was a family. So, but mainly the structure and it, you know.
What did you like about being in the military?
I like the organized teamwork, pulling together, and also not knowing what you may be doing from one day to the next day.
Okay, what did you like most about being in the service?
I like conversing, talking to the other sailors and other people on shore. A lot of the sailors were away from home. They would tell me their favorite stories from home, and Basically, just the wonderful conversations that we had together. I learned a lot from a lot of people. We did work as a team, and it was fantastic.
Okay.
Great experience.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day.
1, 2, 3.
Happy Veterans Day.
Good. Good. We got it?
Got it, Brian?
Let's hit the clock.
Good.
Good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Good to see you, John. Stay well.